Okay, so today we are going to do reading comprehension. Reading comprehension means that you need to comprehend, understand a passage, and then answer the question that follow that passage. Okay, we have been doing it in schools also, during your college maybe. So it's nothing new, but we need to learn few techniques so that you can handle any of the passages that you get in the exams. Okay, so the passage that I have selected is archaeology as a profession faces two major problems. Okay, so it's about archaeology, right? The passage is about archaeology. Now, the first trick of the trade is that you first go to the questions. Okay, why do you go to the questions first? In order to concentrate on the relevant answers while you are reading the passage. Okay, either you can read the passage, come to the questions, but the more um, fruitful way of doing reading comprehension, or quicker way of doing reading comprehension, is to read the question first, so that you are able to focus on those areas in the passage that are relevant to the answers of the questions. Okay, so you may get questions in a number of ways, but the passage that I have chosen for you has its answers as multiple choice questions. So there are five almost, close answers to the questions. Okay, so let's read the questions first, and then we are going to move towards the passage. Now, the first thing is the topic of the passage. Okay, the passage is about the archaeology. Now, what is archaeology? Archaeology is a field, it's a scientific field, and people actually study the past human life and their activities. And how do they study? They study it through studying the remains of these people, or the things that are left by these people. Okay, if I just make it little easier for you, if you have heard about Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, those are archaeological sites that a civilization existed there, and through some catastrophe we lost it, right? Or it got buried. So when it got buried, now archaeologists go there, they dig, and they find out the tools, the things that they used to use, like pottery, like their utensils, like their paintings, like their anything that they were using, and they found out that it was a full-fledged, advanced kind of a civilization, okay, that no longer exists. So how are they doing it? They are doing it through digging, okay, and they found their houses, they found different things that become a part of civilization. So this is the archaeologists are doing, and these such sites are called as archaeological sites. So archaeology is the scientific study of past human life and activities, and it is studied through the analysis of materials, remains like their artifacts, or the cultural landscapes, or the sites. And why do we need to study that? We study that because it helps us to understand the history, okay? To understand the people before us, to understand the culture, the civilization uh, that has passed now. So um, the passage is about that, but let's see what are the questions that we will be required to answer, okay? Now, the first question is, the primary purpose of the passage is to an alternative to museum display of artifacts, a way to curb means stop, illegal digging while benefiting the archaeological profession. C, a way to distinguish artifact with scientific value from those that have no such value. D, the governmental regulation of archaeological sites. Sites means the place of digging or older civilization, or the place where archaeologists go and they study. A new system for cataloging duplicate artifact. Cataloging means, excuse me, registering. Okay, when you register something like the books in the library are cataloged. Okay, you can see the catalog and then you can find out whether the book is there in the library or which shelf is the book placed in the library. So this is all done through the catalogs and cataloging. Okay, this is basically record keeping. The author implies. Implies means it's not given, but you actually um, understand. Okay, it's not explicitly given. One is implicit, the other is explicit. So it's not explicitly given, it implies that the author might not have written it very, very clearly, but you need to understand. The author implies that all of the following statements about duplicate artifacts are true except a market for such artifacts already exists. Such artifacts seldom have scientific value. There is likely to be continuing supply of such artifacts. Museums are well supplied with examples of such artifacts. Such artifacts frequently exceed in quality in comparison to those already catalogued in museum collection. Right? Um, Question number 3: which of the following is mentioned in the passage as a disadvantage of storing artifacts in museum basements? Okay, let's not go for the options. Just concentrate on the questions. Which of the following is mentioned in the passage as a disadvantage? So we need to focus on the disadvantage of storing artifacts in museum basements. Focus on disadvantage. Okay. Otherwise, if we read all these options, we might get confused. One more thing is, this is one of the ways the questions are put in reading comprehension. Otherwise, there can be subjective questions also where you need to write about the answers from the passage. Now, when you get such questions where you have to do some written kind of an activity and just not choose the right answer, you never repeat. You just do not copy whatever is given in the passage. You use your own words, you change it, you rephrase it, because it is reading comprehension. You have to understand and then write. When you put something in your own writing, that shows your understanding. Okay, so this is a different kind of the question of this reading comprehensions are different in a sense that you just have to mark the correct answer, but that's also kind of tricky because the answers are quite close. Right, now let's read the fourth question. The author's argument concerning the effects of the official sale of duplicate artifacts on illegal excavation. Excavation is digging. Is based on which of the following assumptions? Now we need to concentrate on the effects of official sale of duplicate artifacts. Official sale of duplicate artifacts. Question number 5, the last question. The author anticipates. Anticipates is see something in the future, right? Which of the following initial objections to the adoption of his proposal? So probably he's proposing something in the passage. So the author anticipates which of the following initial objections. There would be some objections to his proposal. We need to see the objections. We need to see the effects of official sale of duplicate artifacts. And then we need to check the disadvantages of storing artifacts in museum basement. And the author implies about statement about duplicate artifacts, right? So we need to concentrate on duplicate artifacts and what is the primary purpose of this passage. Okay, so we have a bit of an understanding, not clearly because we have not gone through the passage, but we know that it is about archaeology. And archaeology is the study of past human and their civilization and their artifacts and the things that they used to use. And this is done through digging, excavating, and studying and doing forensics and all of that, right? So we know that the passage is about archaeology and these should be the areas that we need to focus. Okay, एक तो ये बात होगी. दूसरी बात ये है, the other thing about this reading comprehension is that you should have a certain level of vocabulary. Okay, in order to, of course, you have to comprehend, you have to understand it. So, one thing about vocabulary is either you know the exact meanings, okay, which is wonderful. If you know all the vocabulary words by their exact meaning, that is amazing. But the other thing about vocabulary is that when you are reading the passage, and if you do not know the meaning of certain words, you can just figure it out by collocations. Okay, by collocation we mean that whatever words are accompanying that particular word, so you try to understand the word in its context, not exactly. Okay, if you do not know the exact meaning, still you can figure out. Okay, so while your English subject is limited, right? You just study one functional English, or maybe another one, English 2 or 3. But while our students are doing these, reading their novels or reading the dramas or reading other literary pieces, so it is not essential that they know each and every word of the text, right? A novel is so long, it has chapters, and it has sections. So it is not necessary that you know each and every word, each and every vocabulary, but you should have the skill to get the meaning through collocation, through the words that surround that particular word, through the topic, through the theme of what is going on, right? Or what the passage is basically, or whatever the writing or literary piece is about. So you can, in that way also, you can figure out. So similar thing, or the similar skill or the trick goes with reading comprehension. You should know most of it, right? If you do not know most of it, you would not be able to understand the passage. But that's okay if you do not know few of the words that are in the passage. Okay. So let's read this passage slowly. Um, I'll ask you some of the meanings also, but I'll also guide you as far as the vocabulary is concerned. If you have any questions, you can go to the chat box. And if I'm asking any questions and I ask you to answer those questions, then you may go to your chat box again. Okay. Archaeology as a profession faces two major problems. So, when it says that there are two problems, so there would be, he would, now we can expect that he would be mentioning those two problems in detail. And he would be using words like first and second. So here it goes. First, it is the poorest of the poor. Only paltry sums are available for excavating, and even less is available for publishing the results and preserving the sites once excavated. Now, when it says it is poorest of the poor, and then it says something about the sum means some money. Okay, so if paltry, you do not know the word paltry, it means you can connect it to poor, and poor is connected to less amount. So paltry means less amount, is available for excavating. Excavating, of course, it is related to archaeology. So excavating is exploring by digging, and even less is available for publishing the results and preserving the sites once excavated. Yet archaeologists deal with priceless objects every day. Okay, so we do not find many difficult words here, but we get to know that archaeology is related to two things, and archaeologists do two things. First is they find the artifacts through the sites, archaeological sites, one thing, and then they publish the result also. They study those artifacts by whatever methods they have to study it scientifically, and then they are required to publish the results also. So they are doing two things. And for any scientific study, for instance, you are scholars of science, it needs money. Your labs need money. um, Whatever paraphernalia you need for studying, every field, scientific field or otherwise, any other field, it needs money. So uh, archaeology as a field needs money because people need to travel to those sites, people need teams to dig, to excavate, and then they need labs also to study. So it needs money. But what the author reveals to us is that it is a very poor field. No investment by the government is done, or very poor investment, or very less investment is done in this field of archaeology. Now let's see what is the second problem, because he talks about two problems. So first is less investment, getting lesser money, and the second is there is the problem of illegal excavation, resulting in museum quality pieces being sold to the highest bidders. So these the artifacts that are excavated, they are sold illegally. Okay, they are stolen from the sites of excavation, or they are stolen from the archaeological site by people, and then they are illegally sold, because whatever these archaeologists find in these archaeological sites belong to the government. Okay, and then the government can legally sell it, or it can keep in the museum. It's really up to them. But when these things, artifacts, are stolen, they are illegally sold to anyone. Highest bidder means someone who is paying higher amount. Okay, like you have heard the word of bid and bidding. um, I'm just skipping this word, Urdu word for bidding, but bidder is someone who gives a price. Okay, so they compete for the price, and whosoever gives the highest price, he wins. Okay, but this is illegal because no money comes to the government, and there are these people who have stolen it somehow. From those sites, they sell it to the highest bidders. Now, since the author has put two problems, so the probability is that he is going to give some solution also, and this is what we expect when we are reading. So we develop certain expectations. So right in the third paragraph, he gives some suggestions. I would like to make an outrageous suggestion. Outrageous means something out of the way, something shocking, something which cannot be easily acceptable. Okay. Outrageous suggestion that would at one stroke provide funds for archaeology and reduce the amount of illegal digging. So he's suggesting something that would do two things again. It would provide funds, okay, and for archaeology, because the first problem he refers to is that there is no money invested, or less money is being invested in the field of archaeology. So the suggestion he would give would provide or bring in money to the field. And then the second problem is of illegal excavation. So um, again, his suggestion would solve the second problem also and reduce the amount of illegal digging. I would propose now, what does he suggest? He says, I would propose that scientific archaeological expeditions and governmental authorities sell excavated artifacts on the open market. Okay, so instead of people stealing it and then selling it, the government should, on its own, can sell those artifacts at a lower price in the open market. Such sale would provide substantial funds for the excavation and preservation of archaeological sites and the publication of results. One thing, it would bring free money. Okay, free market, open market, and a lot of money, because people would have an access to these. Otherwise, there would be certain bidders who would buy those artifacts illegally. So he says that, it would bring in a lot of money, substantial fund, enough fund for excavation, and would preserve archaeological sites, and it would help in publishing the results also. At the same time, they would break the illegal excavators' grip on the market, thereby decreasing the inducement to engage in illegal activities. Okay, because he has pointed out two problems. So whatever he's suggesting are the solution to those two problems. One is how to bring in money and how to stop this illegal excavation and illegal selling of those to the markets, right? So at the same time, it would break the illegal excavators' grip on the market, therefore decreasing the inducement um, to engage in illegal activities. Inducement means attraction towards illegal activities or anything that leads to illegal activities. You might object that professionals excavate to acquire knowledge, not money. Moreover, ancient artifacts are part of our global culture heritage, which should be available for all to appreciate, not sold to the highest bidders. Okay. So he says that whatever he's suggesting is outrageous, would shock people. Why it would shock people? Because archaeological sites are basically to provide knowledge, to provide material to the museum, to give access to people to study, to see the older civilization, and to appreciate it. And things should not be sold to the highest bidders. Okay, those should be preserved. Those should be kept in the museum. So he says that while I'm suggesting that those should be sold. So you may argue that archaeology is not about acquiring knowledge and it's about money, which is the other way around, and which should be the other way around. It should not be about money, but it should be about knowledge and people access to the results of these sites and people access to the knowledge that is being provided by them. Moreover, ancient artifacts are part of our global culture, okay, and these should not be sold to the highest bidders. I agree. Sell nothing that has unique artistic merit or scientific value. But you might reply, everything that comes out of the ground has scientific value. He suggests that we are not selling. I'm not saying that we should sell some unique um, artistic things, but there might be, he differentiates between two. Few of the things have a scientific value and the other things do not have a certain scientific value, so they can be sold according to his suggestion. But he thinks that people would argue that everything that is excavated from these sites have a scientific value, which he does not agree to. So he replies, but you might reply, everything that comes out of the ground has scientific value. Here we part companies. Here we part companies means that here we do not share similar opinions. We have a difference of opinions. Part means getting away from something, right? We part companies means here we have different opinion, that most of the time people believe that every artifact has a scientific value, whereas I differ from this point. Practically, you are wrong. Theoretically, you may be correct in claiming that every artifact has potential scientific value. Practically, you are wrong. He says that, if you think that everything coming out of these excavation has a scientific value, which most people believe, um, that's not really practical, right? So he suggests, I refer to the thousands of pottery vessels. Pottery vessels are, utensils of made of mud, and ancient lamps that are essentially duplicates of one another. He says that we find many similar things at one archaeological site. In one small excavation in Cyprus, and he gives the example of excavation in Cyprus, archaeologists recently uncovered 2,000 virtually indistinguishable small jugs in a single courtyard. Okay, so they find here in Cyprus, he refers to an example, excavation example in Cyprus, where these archaeologists found 2,000 virtually indistinguishable small jugs in a very small place. Now, when there are 2,000 jugs, he argues that why should we keep all these 2,000 jugs in the museum, whereas further he would say that the museums do not have such space and they do not have money to catalog all of these. So why not just keep a few of these jugs and sell the rest of them, because all of them are similar. Virtually indistinguishable. You cannot make a difference out of them. When you see them, they look very similar. They look almost the duplicates. Even precious royal seal impression known as Malik handles have been found in abundance. More than 4,000 examples so far. So they are all of those are stamped also. There is a royal stamp on all of these artifacts. The basement of museum. Now, why does he say that some of these should be sold, some of these should be kept in the museum? Okay, so why does he say that? He says the basement of museums is simply not large enough to store the artifacts that are likely to be discovered in the future. Okay, the museums do not have a space, and there is no building of new museums, and there is no point in building museums which would contain similar stuff. Okay, excuse me. So there is not enough money even to catalog the finds. As a result, they cannot be found again and become and as inaccessible as they had never been discovered. So these things would be lost. People would not have an access because they are not being cataloged. They don't museums. We don't have enough museums, and the museums that we have, they don't have enough space. And if we have certain space, they do not have money to catalog all of these. So anything that is not cataloged, anything that does not have a record, it doesn't come in record keeping, or no one is keeping the record of these things, would be eventually lost to people. Okay, access means when you can reach to that thing or that place. So as if they had never been discovered. Indeed, with the help of computers, sold artifacts could be more accessible than are the pieces stored in bulging museum basement. Bulging means, there is no space and there's a lot of it in there. Um, there is no storing space. So what he suggests is that these artifacts, which might be similar and which do not have a scientific value, should be sold, and computers can be used to record, not to catalog them for the museum, but to record who has who has bought those and how many items have been sold. So such record keeping can be done through the computers. Prior to sale, each could be photographed. Now, there can be certain procedure of selling. What can be that procedure? What does he suggest? Prior to selling. Prior means before the sale. Prior to sale, each could be photographed. Whatever artifact is being sold out, it should be a picture should be taken, and the list of the purchasers could be maintained on the computer. And whosoever is buying it, the purchasers list should be made. A purchaser could even be required to agree to return the piece if it should become needed for scientific purposes. So while he argues that all artifacts do not have the scientific value, but then he says if we later on found out um, that any of the artifact has a scientific value, we can ask the purchaser, because the purchaser would give us in writing that if asked, the bought item would be returned to the archaeologist or to the museum if later on it is found that it has some scientific value and it can be used for some scientific purpose. A purchaser could even be required to agree to return the piece if it should become needed for scientific purposes. It would be unrealistic to suggest that illegal digging would stop if artifacts were sold in the open market. He says that still, I'm not exactly sure if my suggestion would stop the illegal digging and selling in the open market, but the demand for clandestine product would be substantially reduced. But the demand for this illegal selling of items would be reduced because legal selling would be in place, or legal selling would take the place of illegal selling. So people would prefer buying it legally when something is available to them. Who would want an unmarked pot when another was available whose provenance was known? So people would not go after illegal buying or buying of illegal artifact, because Those illegal artifacts do not come with the record, whereas the legal ones come with all the details of their excavation, of their history. All of that is provided when anything is sold. It is available with its provenance. Provenance means the place of its origin. All that historical data comes along with the legal buying of these artifacts, and that was dated stratigraphically by the professional archaeologists who excavated it, right? So all details are provided while these would be sold legally. Okay, I hope this passage is clear to you. Now, when you are doing reading comprehension, you can it's really according to the time limit that you are provided in the exam. You can even read the passage twice. Read the passage, read the question, go to the passage again, answer the questions. Or now that as we have done, we have read the question first and then we have gone back to the passage. But what I'm trying to tell you is you can read the passage again also. Okay. Oh, I did not change this. Anyway, based on the passage, let's try to answer some of the questions. I would like you to go to your chat box and you will answer, just not answer your choices from the multiple choice questions, but you would also reason from the passage. Now, for instance, the first one, I'm doing it for you, the second one, you would do for me. The primary purpose of the passage is to propose an alternative to museum display of artifacts, a way to curb illegal digging while benefiting the archaeological profession, a way to distinguish artifacts with scientific value from those that have no such value, the governmental regulation of archaeological sites, a new system for cataloging duplicate artifacts. I think B is the right answer, a way to curb illegal digging while benefiting the archaeological profession. Why? Because in the first place, he refers to two problems. Okay. And the whole of his proposal and the suggestion, the whole of this passage is basically indicating two problems and suggesting a solution. So he talks about two problems. One is illegal digging, and how can archaeological profession be supported financially. So B is the answer, a way to curb, a way to stop illegal digging by benefiting the archaeological profession. Okay. So the first one I have done for you. Let's go to the second one you would be doing for me. The second one, the author implies that all of the following statements about duplicate artifacts are true except. Now, all of the statements are correct, except we have to find out that statement which is not correct or which has not been mentioned in the passage. The first is a market for such artifacts already exists. Such artifacts seldom have scientific value. There is likely to be continuing supply for such artifacts. Museums are well supplied with examples of such artifacts. Such artifacts frequently exceed in quality in comparison to those already catalogued in museum collection. So let's go to the chat box and find out the answer with the reason. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting for the answer and I'm giving you 2 minutes because we have done it quite in detail in the passage. Okay, the first thing first, how many of you have understood what is the passage about and the difficult vocabulary words or the crux of the passage? Just raise your hands quickly. First thing first is, you should have understood the passage. Please raise your hands, those who have understood. Good. D'Souza has understood, Jiveria has understood. Okay, nice, Komal. Okay. Tasmin Siddiqui, if I'm just pronouncing your name correctly. Arisha Ogaiman. That's nice. Enough. Okay. Most of you have understood. Now let's go to your chat and answer the second question. and with a reason. E. Okay. Because it's not mentioned or related to the passage. Okay, fine. This is Sarah. Expected, as most expected that it would be Sarah. Yes, Sarah is right. And if anyone has any other option, please, you may also participate. Sarah might be correct, Sarah might not be correct. Okay. So, because the session is on recording, we cannot wait longer silences. Um, and secondly, it can be, rather we can be quicker with the answers because we have done the passage very thoroughly. No one else is trying, guys. There are like 40 people. You should be trying. And those who have said that they have understood. Anyway, Sarah is right because such artifacts frequently exceed in quality in comparison. There is no mentioning of the quality of these artifacts. Okay, quantity is mentioned again and again, but not quality. That's very good, Sarah. Okay, let's move to the third one. Which of the following is mentioned in the passage as a disadvantage of storing artifacts in the museum basement? Museum A. Museum official rarely allow scholars access to such artifacts. Space that could be better used to display is taken up for storage. Artifacts discovered in one excavation often become separated from each other. Such artifacts are often damaged by variation in temperature and humidity. Such artifacts often remain uncatalogued and thus cannot be located once they are put in storage. Okay, who is answering the third question? We have to figure out disadvantage of storing artifacts in museum basement. What happens? Laiba, you are saying yes, ma'am. For what? Okay. Third question. Who is answering the third question? Quickly give me your option. Disadvantage. Just focus on the disadvantage of storing artifacts in museum basements. Okay, Ayman Noor is right. Okay. Malaika, there is no mention of temperature and humidity. Okay, so that wasn't a mention there. So Malaika is not right this time, but Ayman Noor is right. Scholar has mentioned something related to the space and cataloging. So E says such artifacts often remain uncatalogued and thus cannot be located once they are put in storage. Okay, there is no record keeping, so it is almost lost. Whatever is not recorded, it is lost according to the author. That's nice, Amen. Now let's go to the fourth one. The author's argument concerning the effects of the sale of duplicate artifacts on illegal excavation is based on which of the following assumptions? So we are talking about the illegal excavation right now and the official sale. Prospective purchasers would prefer to buy authenticated artifacts. The price of illegal excavated artifacts would rise. Computers could be used to trace sold artifacts. Illegal excavator would be forced to sell only duplicate artifacts. Money gained from selling authenticated artifacts could be used to investigate and prosecute illegal excavators. Okay, now who is answering question number 4, which is about author's argument and his concern the effect of official sale of duplicate artifacts on illegal excavation is based on which of the following assumptions? Quickly. Okay, who's answering the fourth question?
हो रहा है यहाँ पे।
Okay, who's this? This is Arisha. Okay, Tasmeen Siddiqui, see, money gained from selling authenticated artifacts could be used to investigate and prosecute. There is no legal prosecution or court cases mentioned through the earning of the money. So, E cannot be correct. There is no mention of getting into legal battles with the illegal sellers. Okay. So E is not correct, but he says that prospective purchases, that is, those who would be purchasing, would be interested in buying authenticated products if they are available to them at a reasonable price. So, of course, they would go with the authenticated ones because the authenticated ones would come with some record keeping also for with some history or with some description of the artifact that they are buying, so they would be more confident. Firstly, they know that they are buying it legally, the artifacts are authentic, and then they come with the history and the marking, right? So A is correct. Whosoever has marked A, that's correct. Now let's come to the last question. The author anticipates which of the following initial objections to the adoption of his proposal. So he says that people would object to his proposal or suggestions for the reason that museum officials will become unwilling to store artifacts, an oversupply of saleable artifacts will result, and the demand for them will fall. Artifacts that would have been displayed in public places will be sold to private collectors. Illegal excavators will have an even larger supply of artifacts for resale. Counterfeiting of artifacts will become more commonplace. Counterfeiting means copying. Okay. So the author anticipates which of the following initial objections to the adoption of his proposal. So which objection do you think is given here? Yes, the author anticipates the objection that artifacts should be available for all to appreciate, not sold to the higher bidders. Okay, anyone else? Okay, this is Ayman Noor. Okay, Arisha says an oversupply of saleable artifacts will result and the demand for them will fall. Anyone else? Okay, I go for this answer. I go with Ayman Noor because he has suggested that artifacts should be sold. So the most common objection that he is anticipating is that these should have been displayed. Whatever should have been displayed in the public, and public should have been access to those artifacts, will be sold to the private collectors legally. Okay, not illegally. So legally it would be sold. Right. So this is, I think we only have 5 questions. Now, I'll stop the recording here, but you will stay in the class and do the first passage. And the first passage is about, I think, caffeine and very much related to chemistry, enzymes, and some kind of formulas also. So, read the first passage as your homework and try to answer the questions. You may use any of the technique that I have told you. Um, Read the question first and then go to the passage, right? So stay in the class. The class is not over yet, but I'm stopping this recording, right? And this recording will be available to you by evening for those who did not attend the session.